Hey guys, here we are continuing with Mel Bay Method Book 1 and a piece called Soares Waltz. This is mostly arpeggios in the key of G. We're going to have G's and D7s, E minors and A minors primarily. An interesting thing happens halfway through. As with many classical songs, we'll go from the major key, the G, to the relative minor, the E minor, for a portion of it. That'll be kind of interesting to look at as we transition into the key of E minor and introduce its 5 chord, the B7, which we saw in our last piece. So let's just start right away with this. We're going to be doing a G arpeggio. I want to prepare by having middle finger and pointer finger on the G and the B. So we'll hit the open G string, come up the arpeggio from the G to the B to the D, open G, open B, and I've got my ring finger free to place the D note for this bar, still in the G arpeggio, and I'm coming back up again, but now from the 5th string B note. Again, we need the open B, pull your finger off, and then return it for the D note. I'll start the next bar, that high G, from the chord, but you can see it's a scale now, and I'll have to let go of the chord. So F sharp, we're in the key of G, E, D, C, open B, and then a quarter note with the E7 chord. It's going to be a D and then a G sharp note for one beat. I think you want to go right into an A minor chord here. You'll get the A and C together in thirds. The E is your middle finger, the A your ring finger, and then open it up to the open G. We've put a natural sign there, a very sloppy one, sorry about that, because we had the G sharp at the beginning of the bar. The A minor is a 2 chord in the key of G, which leads us to the 5, the D7. So there I'm playing the C and A again. The 3rd, which was a root 3rd in A minor, now it's a 5 flat 7 in D7. Open G, A again, the open D, the 3rd again, the F sharp, and now my first ending. Your book doesn't show endings. I caught on to this just in time that I can use 1st and 2nd and 3rd endings. So here's the G chord, open G, open B, the F sharp, making it a major 7. This is a little hard to read, I see. We have an E note on the 4th string and the open G and open B. That would be an E minor chord, and I was going to label it as such, but with these F sharps, we can see that it's actually just a scale walking down. So we go G to F sharp, and I felt like that was alternating, G, F sharp, but really what it's doing is getting a little start here. G to F sharp, then G to F sharp to E to D. Now we're on the A minor chord. That's actually an A minor major 7 with that G sharp note in it. That's just a lower neighbor tone, chromatic. And then the G chord, open G, F sharp, and a run up the D chord. In your book, it continues on to the next bar. We'll go back and repeat to the beginning again. So G arpeggio, I've got my wrong fingers there. I want to have my pointer in middle. Because I get an open B and then a high D note. Start the arpeggio again. Open B and D note again. Scale down from G. E7, right into a real A minor. Open the G and this D stuff again. And G in the 2nd ending. Open G and B, the 3rd, run up a scale. C, D, E, F sharp, G, arpeggio of an A minor coming down, E, C, A, C, slip into the F sharp for the D7 chord, and a G arpeggio again. You can hear that portion is ended. And we jump unprepared into the relative minor, the E minor. Make your full E minor chord so you can arpeggiate it. 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd here, then 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, minor arpeggiated, the thirds, the second and third string, and then up from the fourth string. E, A, C, E, C. B7 arpeggio. Open B string, fifth string, fourth string, third string, first string, down to the third again, and that's a 5 chord. You can hear it's out of key, leading you to E minor. We'll have the higher G, the open third string, the low E string, the G chord that's not in our normal fingering, the G note, sorry, that's not in our normal fingering. We'll throw it in, and then just arpeggiate the chord. Second string, back down to fourth, first string, and then down to a D note, which is leading us scale stepwise into the A7 chord with a C sharp note. You can hear we're out of key there. Here's E minor, here's E minor, A7 to D7 to G. So here's that A7 out of key. The D and the F sharp, good enough for the D7 chord. We don't have to make the whole chord here. Continue to hold that F sharp and hit your 3 top strings, G, B, and F sharp for G major 7. You can see this chromatic step, D to C sharp, must be leading us to a C note, which we find in our A minor chord. D7, and repeat, back up to the top again. G arpeggio. Once again, by nature, I've grabbed the wrong fingers, so I have to figure out that I'm going to get those 2 fingers on there. Open B to D, open B to D, scale, E7, A minor, D7, G again, the third, but down here at the third ending. Open G and B again. Chromatic D sharp note as we step, using it as a lower neighbor tone out of key. Step back up to the E, and then their natural D. The A minor major 7 again, G sharp to A to C to E, D chord again, D to F sharp, D7, C and A. And that brings us to our G here with our open thirds again. High D down to the B for an arpeggio. C chord. First time, finally, I have a subdominant chord, the 4 chord. Make the full C, hit the open E string, the top, and then the 5th string. And then just straight up the arpeggio. Catch all 5 strings. 1 and 2 and 3 and G chord. D7. There, because I need the C, the A, and the F sharp, I will actually finger the entire D7 there. And you walk down your G chord. First, you've got your G on top. My spacing got horrible there, but that's an open B string, the open G string, open D string, the B, and the G. That's the entire thing. It should go slowly. I should try to hang on to a slow speed, maybe even a touch slower than what I was playing as examples there. We're in 3/4, obviously, it's Sohr's Waltz, and I've broken up the way I write my 8th notes. In almost every bar, they just put a beam across the entire bar. I don't find that terribly helpful. I want to see some segments so I can see where is beat 1, where is beat 2. And I may combine them differently. Here I've got beat 1 and in the beams, 1 and, then 2 and 3 and in the second set. That's easy for me to discern, those 2 full beats in 8th notes there. Or I can do them all separately, 1 and, 2 and, 3 and. If I have all 3 beamed, then it's easy for me to lose track in the middle of the figure where I am. Once again, I don't know the song, so I don't know where my accents ought to be, so I'll just think of it as a waltz. 1 and 2 and 3 and. I think I maybe made that without a mistake. I'm not too sure. There's a few places where you can see the board's glaring and I may have missed a note or two, but hopefully it was correct. See you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.